How's it going, everyone? Well, I was gonna just change the sleeves in these coils for the flippers, and I pulled the coils off, and this is what I found. Can you tell what's missing? On both of those. Yeah, now you see, huh? See, there's a plastic ring that goes around these shafts that acts as a plunger, kind of like a piston with rings. Okay, well, that's the ring. And both of those were missing. I took the one side off because this side was really floppy, and I pulled it out and I thought, oh, the ring's missing. So I figured out I better pull the other one out and see what it looks like, and same thing, the ring's missing. So I figured, well, since we're down this far and we got to rebuild the flippers, why don't I just do a video on rebuilding the flippers. We're going to change the end stroke switches, we're going to change the bushing, we're going to change everything. The link, everything is going to get changed. And that way we'll have new flippers. They'll be like new. Like brand spanking new. And that way we'll have the best power out of our flippers that we can get. This coil has been changed from the Bally coil. It's aftermarket, but it is a 28 1000, which that's what the Bally is, a 28 1000. Now I know these flippers had to have been weak. We've never got to plug this in yet, so we're gonna get this done, and then hopefully here shortly we can get this all put together and plug it in and see how everything's going to work. We still got quite a bit of stuff to do out here that we're working on in another video. But I figured we'd do a video just on rebuilding the flippers. So let me get you set up in the tripod and we'll get started on these. I already did the other side. Now we'll do this side. This one, same thing. What you need to do is you start out with, first you got to take the flipper off. Run that. There's two set screws, one on either side. You can see it sticking out right there. And that's what we want to take out. Kind of having problems with my hands today. They don't want to work real good today. Got that big storm, and it's not doing real well for my fingers and hands. Now, let's see if we can get this off of here. Now we're going to need a little persuasion, a little burr on that from where those set screws set. There we are. Now let me see if I can get it out of there. There we are. And there's our flipper. Like I said, you can see right where the set screws set right into the metal, and it gives it a little bit of a burr. So on some of these it makes it a little hard to pull them up off or pull them down through. Alright, next thing, what we need to do is remove the bushing, our flipper bushing. Take that out of there. Don't lose your screws. Old nasty worn out flipper bushing. That can go in the trash unless you absolutely want to save them. Now we got to take this whole plate assembly up off of the playing field because we can't get to our end of stroke switch with our post assembly sitting there. Come on. Well, I know that one's not stripped out. Don't lose those screws either. You'll need those. And there's our plate. Now let me find my little flat screwdriver. It's really important to have good working flippers. Okay, now this is what we have to save. Save that little retainer and the two screws. Just kind of move them out of the way. Find our new end of stroke switch. Right here. We'll put him on. Put the new one on. Okay, I give up. I'm telling you not to lose screws, but there they are. End of stroke switch has a lot to do with your flipper power too. You don't want it opening too soon. What the end of stroke switch does is when you hit your flipper, it energizes both sides of the coil. There's two parts to this coil. Get you okay. There's two parts to this coil. Actually, it's kind of like two coils in one. You have your outer coil and your inner coil. And when you hit your flipper, both of them are triggered. And it sucks it in and kicks your ball. When it hits the end of stroke switch and opens it, it cuts half of the juice, half of your coil off. That's just so it'll hold your flipper. And then when you let go, and then do it again. But that's what your end of stroke switch does. If it's opening too soon, it's cutting half of your coil off too soon. It should open right at the end. That's why it's called end of stroke switch. Alright, now we can screw our plate back down. So remember, if you have weak flippers, first thing to check is your end of stroke switch. Second thing, all your links. Make sure you don't have any play in all your links. If you have play, then you're losing power through the links. Because if they're sloppy, hold on, let me get this screw in here and we'll go over it a little more. And another way that you could be losing power and getting weak flippers is the link. This is your link here. This is an older Bally. This is a newer. This is a Gottlieb. Sorry. No, this is a Bally. You can see the difference between the two. You have a link in the center here. You have this nylon. Let me move back a little bit. You have this little nylon link here in between, where the earlier Bally, only your plunger rod attaches right to your crank, and you can get a little bit of play in these. And see, just even a wee little bit, you'll start losing some power out of your flippers. These ones get really bad because of the nylon. You have this nylon plate in there, and they can really, you can see how much play is in that one. That's why that one, I changed that one. And when your plunger sucks down, it has to suck up all that slop first before it can start moving your flipper. So you start losing, you'll lose power. And that can cause you to have a weak flipper. We have to trim our end-of-stroke switch because they come real long. So they'll fit multiple Ballys. The last one I cut right at that second hole, which worked out really well. Now we can put our bushing down in. Need a screwdriver, those always help. Your bushing always helps too. If it's wore out, it can, your flippers can bind up in it, and you'll lose some power that way too. There's many things that can happen to cause your flippers to get weak, and it's usually not the coil. Coils, it's either a coil is good or it's bad. I've never seen a weak coil. Okay, now we'll take our new spring. It goes all the way up and latches onto that top part. We need our new piston ring. There's our, put our piston ring on. Get our new sleeve in our coil. So it's ready. Set screws. Now here's another one of those. This is one of those pressure washers that helps keep everything tight. Put him up in there. Find our new coil stop. There's our new coil stop. The only bad thing about flat-headed screws, they don't stay on your screwdriver very well. There we go. Come on. All right. Snug up at least one of the set screws. There we go. Okay, now all we need to do is we need to solder our new end-of-stroke switch on. Pick up your head a little. There you go. Got a red one on the bottom. A white one up top here. Flux them up. Hope you can see down in there. on, solder. Work with me. Okay. That wasn't so hard, was it? And you can see our end of stroke switch opens up right at the end on both of them. And don't worry about adjusting your flippers until you flip it back over, till you get everything done here. Then you can adjust your flippers where you like them. Up a little, level, whatever. You can adjust them then. Just get them rebuilt. Get all your stuff done up top here. And then you can flip it over. While you have it flipped over, go ahead and replace all your sleeves and your coils. And that way that's all done too. So I hope you learned something. And if you liked the video, hit the like button. Leave me a comment down below, because that's the only place to leave a comment. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel. And I'll bring you more cool pinball videos. So until next time, see ya.